All right, NL, we are going to go here and get you into orbit. Let's go over the ship design real quick. Parachute on top, command pod, got some science on here, heat shield somewhere in there, decoupler, 3 of those 200 fuel tanks, LVT 45, it's the one that says swivel, decoupler, 7 of these fuel tanks, another LVT 45, 4 fins. You don't really need the fins, I like them. Let's launch. SAS on, throttle up to full, go ahead and hit your spacebar. It's going to take off very slowly, so while you wait on it, you can come into the map screen, get things set up how you like. They changed something. Every time you exit and leave the map screen, the nav ball goes away. There's a mod to fix that. You can bring up different things like your resources indicator or your contracts you're working on. I like to be able to see at a glance how much electrical charge, liquid fuel, and oxygen I have. So the meat of it, once this gets to 100 meters per second relative to the surface, we're going to start tipping over gradually to the east. That's D on your keyboard. This is a faux gravity turn. A real gravity turn, we would let gravity do the work. We're actually going to do the work. So we're going to tip over about 10 degrees. That's where the little tiny 80 comes in on this ball. And we are just going to follow this marker down all the way. Just going to keep yourself centered on this marker. Good rule of thumb, you want to be to the 45-degree mark, which is this line going around here, by about 20,000 meters, give or take. I don't know the exact numbers. I'm not Scott Manley. We'll go ahead, we'll walk it down. Obviously, we're going to stage when this stage runs out of fuel. Once that's happened, we'll check our map, see how we're doing. That's 15,000 meters at 45 degrees. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and check our map. If you don't have this nav ball up in the map screen, you can't fly your ship in the map screen. So come out here, bring it up. Our goal is to get this as long as we can while getting this apoapsis above 70,000 meters. So you can push it farther towards the horizon on your nav ball to push it out farther. If you're not getting enough elevation, you can bring it back up to get more elevation. I like to build in a little bit of a comfort zone. We'll call it 80,000. Cut the engine and just go ahead and time warp up to your apoapsis. Things can get a little hot. That's fine. Before we forget, we're going to do our science experiments. We're going to observe the goo. We're going to log the pressure data. We're going to take some temperatures. We could do a crew report right now, but since we cannot EVA, we can only do one crew report at a time. So we're going to wait until we're actually in space to do that crew report. So what we want to do is when we get close to the apoapsis, we're going to go ahead and point prograde, and we're going to burn to get ourselves into orbit. You want to be about 20-30 seconds before the apoapsis. We can't tell that right now, but just kind of feel for it. So we'll point towards the apoapsis and burn. I'm sorry, we'll point towards the prograde marker and burn. We're going to watch this come out, and we are in orbit. So that's 73,000 by 94,000. That's good enough for the girls I go out with. Got a tiny sliver of fuel left. This will get us home. If you fly better, you're going to have a lot more fuel when you get up here, but this is about the best ship we can make right now at the current tech level. So while we're up here, we'll do the rest of our experiments. Let's see, we have pressure and we have temperature. And we will do our crew report. We're coming home ass first, so point towards retrograde, burn. And that brought our periapsis down to 49,000. This will get us home. It's going to take a while, but it'll get us home. So let's go ahead and speed up time. It's probably going to take 1 or 2 revolutions around the planet before it actually brings us home. But the shallower your entry, the less dangerous it is. So the important thing you want to know is you want to point towards retrograde because that means your heat shield will be pointing towards the heat. It's important. If your pilot is leveled up, you can go ahead and click this retrograde marker. That'll keep you locked on it. I don't really like that. It tends to burn through your battery very, very quickly. And then a couple of seconds, we'll be seeing some fireworks, hopefully. Just means that we're on our way home. Now, if we didn't have enough fuel to get home, it's all right. You can always intercept mid-orbit, go up there, take these science experiments, load them in another pod, bring Jeb into that other pod, and take them home that way. It's a little more advanced than just getting to orbit. Hopefully the series makes it that long. All right, so we have our reentry effects. You've seen this all. You know how to get home from here. Should have splashdown in a minute or two. You pretty much do not want to be under the effects of physics acceleration when your chutes deploy, when they fully deploy, or when you hit land. So always back off right before that happens. Your hotkeys are your comma and your period keys. It's easy to know here because it's going to be 500 meters for full deployment and 0 when I hit the ocean. There's also a mod that can take care of that for you. There we go. Let's go ahead. While we're here, we'll EVA out onto the ladder. We'll get an EVA report. We will let go of the ladder. Oh, that's right. I haven't upgraded enough to take surface samples. Let's go ahead and get back in and recover the vessel. So that is, let's see, how much science did we get here? 237 total science, so 66.9 science earned. I think that's more than you've earned this entire series. So there we go. Later, NL.